Still as a breeze, a river flowing deep. Don't wanna leave the air you breathe. Living mirrors dreams when I think of you and me. Don't wanna leave the world you see, and I will hold you down if love is still alive. It's all forgiven to my eyes. The tide has turned around. Just listen to the sound. Two hearts beating, beating time. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah. It's all forgiven to my eyes. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah. It's all forgiven. You and your wicked ways. You and your wicked ways. You and your wicked ways. Center of your touch, I can never feel so much. Don't wanna leave us in between. 'Cause when you lock me in, I'm in for life. Don't care, it's a cruel paradise.
Britain, warrior culture, gods, saints and superstition. Britain is often associated with monarchy, tradition, tea and empire. But beneath the polished ceremonies and historic uniforms lies one of the world's oldest continuous warrior cultures. For nearly 2,000 years, Britain has produced tribal warriors, medieval knights, naval crews, colonial regiments, commandos, airborne troops, and modern special forces. Unlike some warrior traditions built around mysticism and ritual tattoos, British military culture evolved through discipline, endurance, dark humor, loyalty to regiment, and a strange mixture of Christianity and superstition. British soldiers marched under saints. Sailors carried charms against drowning. Pilots wore lucky mascots. And generations of fighting men covered themselves in tattoos that marked survival, service, brotherhood, and identity. From Roman Britain to Afghanistan, the British warrior tradition has constantly evolved, yet many of its symbols remain remarkably old. Important Celtic symbols: the torque. A torque was a metal neck ring worn by nobles and warriors. It meant status, courage, noble birth, divine favor. Many Celtic gods are depicted wearing torques. In Britain, there were probably 4 or 5 important gods in England. Andraste was goddess of victory and sacred warfare. Andraste was a war goddess associated with victory, courage, and the righteous destruction of enemies. She is a parallel to Morrigan, the Irish Celtic god. She is most famous because Boudica is said to have invoked her before fighting the Romans. She offered courage before battle, confidence in the face of overwhelming odds, victory against oppressors, protection of tribe and homeland. She helped warriors to defeat invaders, cause panic and terror among enemies. She gave divine support for vengeance. A warrior praying to Andraste would not ask for a peaceful life. They would ask for the strength to triumph. Her symbolic animals were hare and horse. Nodens was a deity worshipped in Roman Britain, particularly at the temple complex at Lydney Park, Lydney in the Forest of Dean. Nodens was associated with healing, hunting, dogs, protection, the sea and water, dreams and divine visions. Interestingly, the scholar J.R.R. Tolkien was asked to investigate the name Nodens in the 1930s. He connected it linguistically with heroic and hunting traditions in Celtic mythology. Camulos, god of war and martial strength. Camulos was one of the principal war gods of ancient Britain. The Roman town of Camulodunum, modern Colchester, was named after him. He was often compared by the Romans to Mars. He offered physical strength, skill with weapons, discipline in battle, protection of warriors and chiefs, crushing military victories, the breaking of enemy shield walls, strength to overwhelm opponents in combat. Where Andraste represented victory itself, Camulos represented the warrior's power to achieve it. His symbolic animals were the boar and bull, Cernunnos, lord of nature, animals, and prosperity. Cernunnos is the famous antlered god. He ruled the wild places, forests, rivers, and animals. He was less concerned with warfare than with life itself. He is often shown seated among stags, wolves, and serpents. He offered fertility of the land, successful hunting, prosperity, harmony between people and nature. Cernunnos was not a destroyer in the military sense. Instead, his darker aspect could represent nature reclaiming what humans build, starvation when the hunt failed, the harsh realities of the wilderness. He was a god of life and death through nature's cycles rather than through battle. His symbolic animals were the stag, wolf, serpent, and boar. Tyrannus was the god of storms, thunder, and the sky. His sacred symbol was the wheel, representing both the heavens and the cycle of existence. To ancient Celts, lightning was evidence of his power, of his divine authority, protection from evil forces, blessings on kings and warriors, power over storms. He could create lightning strikes, thunder and fear, divine punishment, destruction of enemies through heavenly wrath. Of the gods, Tyrannus was perhaps the most visibly terrifying because every storm reminded people of his presence. His symbolic objects, wheel, lightning, storm clouds. If a Celtic warrior prayed before battle, a warrior might ask, Andraste for victory, Camulos for strength and courage, Tyrannus to strike fear into enemies, Cernunnos to protect his family, livestock, and homeland while he was away. Together they represent 4 pillars of life in the ancient Celtic world. Celtic tattoos and drawings have almost polluted Celtic history, but writers at the period wrote about some sacred objects or symbols. The Celtic warrior knot, meaning courage, endurance, and the unbroken spirit. A circular knot with no beginning or end represents a warrior's determination and the continuity of life. Many modern soldiers and veterans choose variations of this design. Triscale, triple spiral, meaning growth, progress, and life's 3 stages. Found at the ancient Irish monument Newgrange, the triple spiral predates the Celts, but was adopted into Celtic culture. It can symbolize birth, life, death, mind, body, spirit, land, sea, sky, Celtic sword and knotwork. Meaning, honor, sacrifice, and protection. A sword wrapped in endless knotwork symbolizes a warrior whose duty never ends. It works particularly well as a forearm or calf tattoo. Dara knot, meaning inner strength and wisdom. The design resembles the roots of an ancient oak tree. It represents strength that comes from deep foundations. Sacred Celtic animals. Animals were enormously important in Celtic mythology. The Celtic boar, meaning fearlessness and aggression in battle. The boar was one of the most respected animals in Celtic warfare. Celtic warriors often carried boar standards into battle and wore boar imagery on helmets and shields, suitable for someone who values resilience and refuses to back down. The raven of the battlefield, meaning wisdom, fate, and warrior spirit. The raven was associated with the Morrigan, the Celtic goddess of battle and destiny. Ravens appearing on battlefields were seen as symbols of prophecy and the presence of the gods. The Celtic stag, meaning leadership, nobility, and connection to nature. The stag was associated with the horned deity Cernunnos and represented strength without cruelty. Some Roman writings connected the horned one, Cernunnos, to frenzied drinking and dancing, which ended with a human sacrifice. But he was a little like the Green Man, generally gentle or disinterested in war, even though Celts did make human sacrifices. The Celtic wolf, meaning loyalty, family, and guardianship. Wolves were respected hunters and protectors. In Celtic culture, they often symbolized devotion to one's tribe and kin. Celtic hounds were valued for loyalty, guardianship, and noble service. Celtic heroes were frequently accompanied by great hounds. The hound symbolized devotion and courage in defending family and tribe. Celtic dogs, often referred to as Celtic hounds, were not a single breed, but rather a collection of functional working types that eventually gave rise to many beloved modern breeds. The ancestor of sighthounds. The short-haired Celtic hound was celebrated for its speed and agility, serving as the foundation for modern sighthounds like the greyhound and the Scottish deerhound. Fierce war dogs and hunters, Roman writers and Celtic sagas described these hounds as incredible fighters. They were known to attack men on horseback and hunt large, aggressive game like wolves and boars. The giant wolfhound. One of the most famous lineages, the Irish wolfhound, was developed by the Celts. While they are now known as gentle giants, their ancient ancestors were towering, muscular warhounds used to knock warriors off their saddles. Hounds represented the ultimate warrior ideals: loyalty, courage, and fearlessness. In ancient Ireland and Scotland, a king or hero who proved himself worthy was given the ultimate honorific title, Cú, the old Irish word for hound. The most famous example is Cú Chulainn, the legendary Hound of Culan. Mythology and folklore. In Celtic mythology, dogs often acted as guides, leading lost souls safely to the other world. They were also highly associated with healing, fertility, and deities of the hunt. Celtish people ranged across Europe but today have become venerated as Irish or Scottish, and modern people seem to forget that what was the origins of England and Wales had the most famous Celts in the legendary figures of Caractacus and Boudica. That must be grit in the teeth of the Irish and Scots. Boudica is famous for what she did. Caractacus also fought the Romans until he was betrayed, but is also known for his words when a captive of the Romans. The speech of Caractacus survives because the Roman historian Tacitus recorded it in his work, Annals, and makes a light of the Roman view of Celts as ignorant barbarians. Caractacus said, "Had my moderation in prosperity been equal to my noble birth and fortune, I should have entered this city as a friend rather than as a captive, and you would not have disdained an alliance with one descended from illustrious ancestors and ruling over many nations. My present fate is as glorious to me as it is humiliating to you. I had horses, men, arms, and wealth. Why should I wonder at losing them unwillingly? If you desire to rule the world, does it follow that all men should welcome slavery? Had I surrendered immediately, neither my fall nor your triumph would have become famous. If you put me to death, I shall quickly be forgotten. If you spare me, I shall be an everlasting example of your mercy." According to Tacitus, Claudius was impressed by his dignity and courage. Instead of executing him, as many defeated enemies would have been, he granted clemency to Caractacus and his family. For later Britons, it became a story about a defeated warrior standing before the ruler of the known world and refusing to beg for his life. That is one reason he remained a symbol of resistance long after Roman Britain had vanished.